Conscripted by a secret organization, a group of strangers is loaded into experimental metapods, hurtling their souls across dimensions and into unsuspecting avatars. With each trip across reality, these newly minted metapilots gain access to unique powers and abilities, slowly transforming them into true masters of the Metaverse.
You might just rejoin really quick, Christian.
Hey, everybody, it's Meta Monday! How's everybody
Hello!
Hello.
Hello, people of the interwebs, and Christian and Maggie Doyle.
Yay!
Today, we got Mark on tech. He's back there. Hi, Mark. Well, he's up there and also back there.
Hi,
The virtual world, isn't it wonderful? I hope everyone is holding up okay in their stay at home, or they're being healthy, or they're practicing social distancing, or doing all those things that they're doing. It is strange to not be in studio again, but that will come back one day, I promise.
Yeah, it will.
But let's go ahead and maybe start talking about Metaverse again. I'm going to be coming back starting next week. We're going to do regular Metaverse again. We're going to have full casts. There's going to be, I hear there's a graphic for sliders, so you'll get to see the graphic on the screen of the sliders. Yeah, that's going to be pretty fancy. Cool. High tech, yeah. I don't know how Mark does it. He's fantastic and does all kinds of crazy things. But yeah, we're going to be going back doing some actual Metaverse, and when we go back into studio, we'll just keep continuing the same season. So we are going to just start the new season, doing it online through the webcams and running everything out of the studio as it is, and hope that it all holds up. And you know, I know these are trying times for lots of folks, but we want to do our best to keep Zoe somewhat financed in this dark time.
Yeah.
Also, the people who work on the show, because it's difficult for a lot of people. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll be testing new setups. We'll be testing new products and seeing how things come out. But yeah, there'll be more Metaverse, regular Metaverse, back next week. Yes.
That's good news.
It's great news.
But I hope everybody caught last week's episode. We did the first part of Bodies on Bourbon Street, and if they didn't, I'm going to let Maggie tell you a little bit about the episode, and Christian too.
Thank God, I was hoping it wasn't going to be me.
He said Christian too. Last week.
My headphones, I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Last week on the Bodies of Bourbon Street, Miss Mary Elizabeth Pryor, and it's Amos, correct?
Let me take a look at my character sheet. That's how much I remember. Yes.
Yes, Amos, we're both called down to the district to investigate some murders that have been happening that were very odd. All of our victims were found drained of blood. And we managed to discover that they were bled dry before they were placed in their locations where they were found. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 victims before we arrived. We have learned that all the victims have been found 3 days apart. Why are you laughing at me?
Because it sounds like your character's related to the Count. You should have just said there were 6 victims. You counted them all.
Oh, right.
There was 1, 2,
So we did find out. We also found out that there is a local guy named John Tunstall who's pretty much the local underworld boss, but he also is in charge of the union. And we went to go investigate / talk to him.
Two
And
things
he,
which are not normally associated with each other.
right? And we found out that they had left. We got followed. We got in an alley fight. We did some cool movie things. But the local police, who have been unbelievably not helpful, tried to kill us. So that was a big red flag. We ended up going to James Dolan?
Yes.
Yes. James Dolan's house. And there was a huge battle. The two, James Dolan and John Tunstall, do not like each other at all. We also found out that Amos's uncle seems to have some connections with one James Dolan. And he kept threatening you. He kept trying to say, like, like, I'm going to tell your uncle, or your uncle wants you to do this. There's some sketchy stuff there that we have not completely figured out. We also, the only connector, well, the main connector between all of the murders is that they all did work for John Tunstall in some way, whether it was like street urchins who gave him information or they actually worked at his business. And I think that is pretty much where we left off.
You
last
did
time.
skip an important fact. Amos
did?
shot James Dolan in the gut.
Oh, yes, Amos did shoot James Dolan in the gut. Also, Amos is a very scientific, by the book, give me the facts type of person, and Mary Elizabeth is an occult expert. It is not hooey.
And when we ended the last episode, John Tunstall was in the custody of the police. There is currently a group of them looking for the two erstwhile detectives, specifically Amos, for shooting James Dolan in the gut.
I don't know that was me.
Yeah, Dolan sort of let them know, as being the surviving guy, that you did shoot him in the stomach.
I was aiming for the pelvis. I wanted to shatter that bone real good, but
So you are currently fugitives on the run, which is interesting because you were sent here as representatives from King Teddy of Yosemite to assist with an investigation, and gotten yourself pretty well tangled up in it now.
Yeah.
And you had returned to Nolans and were avoiding the hotel that you previously were at, being as you didn't want to get taken into custody.
So, yeah, Dolan didn't keep his promise to keep me out of it, huh?
Absolutely not. Totally ratted you out immediately.
Man,
that
role was completely useless. I loved that. Okay.
He's an upstanding citizen.
Dolan?
Clearly, an upstanding citizen. Yeah, so we went to a different hotel. Also, the Pinkertons were at the previous hotel, who were also at the fight outside Dolan's house.
Mm-hmm.
But we are definitely...
who they seem to know was going to show up and make a
yeah.
fight with Dolan.
And it seemed very much like a deep-seated animosity between them. This is not all of a sudden you killed a couple of my guys and I'm upset at you. Like, this has some history to it that we have not cracked into, but it is there.
Amos is aware of some of the history.
Yeah, but Christian isn't.
Yes. If you're a fun history person, you can look up the Lincoln County War, who I stole these characters from.
Oh, yeah. I'm a fun history person.
Yeah.
Right,
Dolan and Tunstall have already been on opposite sides of a conflict previously involving cattle in New Mexico.
Well, yeah, we're definitely at a different hotel. We have tended to our wounds, if there are any.
Everyone froze.
Oh,
there you are. No, you're not frozen.
And how do we know we're on the run? Did anybody tell us?
It was on many people's lips when you got back to New Orleans, slightly ahead or slightly behind Tunstall and the others.
I see.
Also, I had this feeling in my gut. Now, I know you don't like feelings and guts, but like I figured we gotta lay low.
You have to lay low.
Or so do you.
No, no, my family has enough money to get me out of this.
Oh. Well, fine then. Well, I'm not laying low. I'm going with you. Whatever you're doing, we're in this together. Remember, we're partners.
Oh, well, I figure this case is over.
Well, why do you figure that?
Because I have bigger problems now. Much bigger than a case that I didn't care about to begin with.
Well, what are those problems?
Apparently, we're wanted fugitives, heading back to a place where they know we're going.
Right, same city, but different location in the city.
I aim to get off about 100 miles early and not go anywhere New Orleans. Smelly little town anyway.
Are you going back home to up north?
No, I can't go back there either. If this is as widespread as I've heard, no point in going back there. I just have to deal with an unwanted trial. Here the West is still free.
There is
Right.
some truth. But being as there's not television or radio, word of mouth is how things tend to still spread. And
And
a
it
lot
travels
of
faster than a train.
things were being talked about in New Orleans by the time you got back. And yes, it spreads really fast because people don't have anything else to do but gossip.
Much like now.
Except we can't talk to each other now.
Okay.
Tunstall was taken into custody by Marshal Brady. They've currently pinned the murders of the bloodless corpses on John Tunstall and claim that he is responsible and practicing dark sorcery or witchcraft of some sort. Something
All
you
right.
know blatantly false, Mary. Yes.
Yeah, that man couldn't cast a spell on his best day. There's nothing, no malarkey, as my partner would say, about him. But he is an innocent man who is currently being charged with murders he did not commit.
This is very true. In addition, it was very bad when he went within an hour of that information starting to circulate through town. A mob formed and tried to go to the jail to pull him out and, do terrible bad things to him. But
No.
seeing that this was something that Marshal Brady prepared for ahead of time, perhaps, or he's up to something else nefarious, he had already moved Tunstall from the jail to the governor's mansion in the city itself.
Who's the governor?
Governor Hayes, who originally wrote King Teddy to ask for assistance for investigators.
And what is the relationship between the governor and our super squeaky clean police chief?
It's hard to say. You haven't really looked into that so much.
I just know that I don't trust that policeman. He has lied to us. He tried to have us murdered. We know he's on the payroll of Dolan, or at least he's connected in some way.
Absolutely. That seems rather obvious.
So we go see the governor.
All right.
And
Now-
apparently also Dolan is currently held up at the governor's mansion under the governor's personal physician's care.
So, Amos,
So now we do go on the run. We get out of Louisiana as fast as possible.
you're going to leave an innocent man?
Which one? Where's the innocent man?
Tunstall did not commit those murders for which he is charged.
Tunstall has killed countless people. It doesn't matter. He's just paying for another crime.
That is a valid point.
He does have a point.
Well, where...
He is most definitely innocent of these murders.
Right, he is innocent of these, but not of others, for which he might not have been charged at all.
And Governor Hayes is known as largely ineffective as far as the governor goes.
Well, that's all the report we need for the king.
In addition to that, it seems that with you two being blamed and involved with this whole thing by the marshal, Yes, though you clearly didn't do it. They have closed down the ambassadorship from King Teddy's ambassador and sent him packing back to the kingdom of Yosemite.
Oh, so war then.
Not necessarily. Things are tense. In addition to that, strangely enough, impossibly fast, because it's at least 3 days by the fastest method to reach here. A delegation from Boston is already going to be arriving in the morning, and it's on the town's talk of the town.
What does that have to do with the price of tea in Boston?
Well, to be involved with Boston is to not be involved with Yosemite.
Oh, well, there you go.
And are they here to what is their purpose? Are they
It's hard to say, but it does seem like it's an official delegation.
Yeah, we need to get out of town immediately. I don't even know why we came back, except that it was, in the narrative.
I will follow you. I will trust your instincts here. I certainly don't want to get too caught up in something we didn't do. I'm just worried that more murders are going to keep happening if we don't.
Oh, they probably will. And now they're not the problem of the kingdom of Yosemite.
So we just pack up and go home and tell King Teddy sorry?
Well, I doubt Mr. Hayes wants our help anymore. And if he doesn't, there's no reason for us to be here.
Telegraphs are also still possible. There are telegraph lines.
Yeah, we could try and send a telegraph, but not from New Orleans.
Mm-mm.
Head out west, hit up Baton Rouge, and maybe send one from there.
All right. Because while word spreads, they're not going to know that it's us. I mean, it's still a time when it's not like
Best they can do is sketches, and those will take some time.
right, and then they got to get distributed. We'll beat
In fact,
those.
even in the city itself, sketches are not something they have much of yet, and your descriptions are not precise.
Right.
They know my name.
That's true. If you identify yourself by name, it may be an issue.
And I am not, I have no jurisdiction in Louisiana of any kind.
No real jurisdiction, no. You were sent to be an aid to this investigation, as King Teddy has been trying very hard to foster strong relations with the Louisiana Territory. Hayes seemed amicable to that for quite some time. In fact, they were on very good relations. The fact that he has closed down the ambassadorship is very out of character for him. In fact, for him to make any sort of decisive call, especially quickly, is very out of character.
Right, he's in Dolan's pocket. Clear as day. Everybody knows that Dolan's staying there, yeah?
He's staying there under guard, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
personal physician's care.
Honestly, that is all the proof I need to prove that Hayes is not on the up and up, and we need to get that out of Dodge. Or
Let's
head
get
to
out of
Dodge,
Dodge.
as the case may be.
Dodged is. Now, do we still have the horses that we procured for getting to the Dolan residence?
Unfortunately, you had to leave them behind after the gun battle, as they were a little ways away from you, and you had to run to avoid the sheriff's posse.
How would you like to go about this, Amos? Would you like to try to get some horses? Should we just go on foot?
I would like to travel smarter from now on.
I agree. I'm asking for your input. Do you think by train?
Well, we will commandeer some horses.
All right.
And if people try to stop us, we will shoot them. They are enemy.
Oh.
But you are on the outskirts of New Orleans, where you've heard a lot of these things, holding up at a smaller and less fine place of hospitality in order to avoid notice.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to try and disguise myself up real good.
I also have disguise. So I will do that.
Oh, I don't have it.
Oh, can I roll for both of us then, James?
Absolutely, you can.
All right. All right. Well, that is a success by 1 and a right on the nose. So success by 1 for Christian because I rolled him first, and then right on the nose for me at 12.
You changed the appearance of both of you pretty significantly. Anyone who didn't have a lot of direct contact with you would probably have a hard time telling that it's you. You should be able to slip fairly unnoticed through just about anywhere in the city.
Excellent.
Now, if you're trying to leave, the variety of methods to leave New Orleans. You can, of course, travel by horse, travel by foot or cart, but the fastest route would be to travel by ship.
Oh, go around.
Well, Texas is part of Yosemite these days, so it is a very quick trip from New Orleans to the port of Texas.
But then we'd have to do the same thing in Texas. And stealing horses in Texas isn't commandeering them.
Well, Texas is part of the kingdom of Yosemite. So
Exactly. It wouldn't be commandeering, it would be stealing.
Well, it would be requisitioning based on your authority that you do possess in the kingdom of Yosemite.
Right.
Actual investigators and licensed lawmen there.
Well, then the boat is fine, I guess.
But either possible. It's not too far to ride if you just want to head directly west towards Texas.
That was the plan.
There are a variety of options.
I think
out west,
I'm
where
feeling
in
the
the
riding
blue
only
perfect
because when we
past
ride, it's
tense
just
did the
two of us.
Bostonians come from? What
Whereas if we
attracted
get
their
on a boat
attention?
or a ship,
Half of them could be assassins for all we know.
right, or the word gets out that that's where we've gone, we could be followed. Someone could have heard the story and try to collect a bounty.
No way to change direction and run.
Right, exactly. So I'm with the horse idea that we should grab some horses, and if it's not that long, what you think, like a day's ride, 2 days?
To hit the border with Texas?
Yeah.
By road, you could probably get there in less than 3 days.
All right.
It's Louisiana territory, not Louisiana state. That's
right.
A distinction. Dogs. A break.
Hashtag Metasurge if Dolans
Hey, we got
from
a
New
Metasurge in the
Mexico,
store, guys.
out west, where in the blue perfect past tense did the Bostonians come from? What attracted their attention?
That's a good question. Seeing as how they arrived so early, it might be part of some form of plan.
A plan, you say?
And Boston and Yosemite are not friends.
Right.
There's a lot of resentment from that second Civil War.
Right, Civil War II, Electric Boogaloo. I remember it well.
Indeed.
Well, James, I don't know how you want to handle us stealing some horses, but we do that. I mean, honestly, I'm sure there's a couple outside a bar somewhere or a hotel.
In fact, there are a pair of riders riding up to the hotel you're at right now, just as you're talking about this plan of leaving. And there's something somewhat familiar about them. You think maybe you've seen them before. You're not quite sure.
Can I roll?
Yes, absolutely.
To see how sure I am?
Give me a notice check.
Right. Well, that's a 19, so that is an awful notice check.
They just look familiar to you.
Have I seen them before too?
Yep, give me a notice check. There's something about them.
Okay. My notice, I've got a 12. My notice is 14. I beat it by 2.
Well, the first thing you notice with that is the two are definitely in disguise. They're trying to disguise their appearance, which is why you didn't recognize them immediately. But upon seeing through their disguise, you do recognize them. They're former deputies of Yosemite, Doc Skurlock and Jose Chavez y Chavez.
Aha.
Also known associates of John Tunstall.
Do they recognize us in any way? Are they giving us the same kind of looks we're giving them?
Not at all. It seems your disguise has worked flawlessly, and they should recognize you. They do not.
Excellent. So you want to just lay low till they go inside and then take their horses?
Well, I mean, yes. Unless there are other horses on this street that don't belong to people we know. In which case, we'll take those horses because they don't belong to people we know.
Are there more horses on the
Nearby.
street?
Or these,
Those two are just riding up and hitching their horses as you are walking out of the hotel.
but are there other horses?
Of course, there are other horses around.
Okay,
They are common forms of transportation.
right.
Just a very notable thing that two former Yosemite deputies would be riding into town.
Yes. Quite odd. It'll definitely go in my report.
Just so we're aware, did they stop being deputies because they got caught and were in trouble and got banished?
No, they
Did
retired.
They retired. All right.
Well, as much as I would love to investigate, we're not in a position to do that.
No, we're not. I just wanted to. We would know that, so I was just clearing that up.
Like, my curiosity about this is killing me, but
We don't have time.
yeah, we gotta focus on survival.
I'd like to
You have
also.
options of horses, you have options of telegraphs, and you have options of ships. You have a variety of things. You talked about stealing horses and riding west so far.
Yeah, I just don't want to telegraph from inside Louisiana City, like inside New Orleans city limits. My plan was just to ride until we get to a different town that has a telegraph and send the letter from there.
I'm in. Also, those horses that they're coming in on might be a little bit tired, whereas some of these who have been resting for longer could be in better shape for us.
It's clear that they have been riding for some time and riding rather hard to try and reach here. They look like they're in a hurry, and they're also disguised and trying to avoid being noticed as who they are.
Excellent. I'd like to take the two freshest horses we find, and I assume that this is like any old West where it's the honor system. You take your horse, you wrap the reins around the post, and you go inside, and no one
There's
takes
not only
it.
that, there are a variety of large stables for housing horses inside a city as large as New Orleans.
Well, we just go and take some horses.
Give me a stealth check, please.
Absolutely. If I can, James, I'll also take some. If it's a stable, we'll take a bag of oats, or something to feed the horses with as well.
Law enforcement resorting to theft. I love it.
I beat my stealth by 2.
You managed to get a hold of a couple of horses and a small bag of oats without being detected by the stable hands and slip them out the back. Meeting them
Right.
in the street.
Do you want to see what these people are doing?
I mean, I'm with you in the sense that we just need to get out of here before news spreads further or before we compromise ourselves.
Where did they ride in from?
They rode in from the west.
Okay, I guess we have to at least try and make contact.
Even though they work for James Dolan?
They don't work for James Dolan. Why would you think they work for James Dolan?
Because I thought that's what he said.
Oh, no.
They're former
No.
deputies of Yosemite.
I thought you said who also have started to work for James Dolan. I misheard you.
John Tunstall, James Dolan.
Oh, John Tunstall. That's
They were-
right. Sorry.
They used to work for John Tunstall. Yeah, they were part of the Regulators, a rather famous outfit.
Well, if you want to make contact, I'm with you on that.
Fine.
In fact, Doc Skurlock was the third leader of the Regulators. The last leader before they disbanded.
I'll go in and try and make casual contact.
They are sitting in a corner table, and though they're doing their best to avoid notice, they're working so hard at it and are so not good at espionage that it's very obvious that they're avoiding being noticed.
I'm gonna sit down at the table with them.
Doc Skurlock gives you the side eye. What do you want?
I'm wondering what you're doing here, Doc. You clearly just rode in. You know Tunstall's in jail. What's the deal?
I just heard Tunstall's in jail. We were coming here to help him. Who are you? Why do I think I know you?
I don't know. We work for the king. My name is Amos, and this is Mary.
No shit. You're the New England detective, ain't you?
Well, I mean, New England is such a big place. There's plenty of detectives from there, I'm sure.
I heard about you. I heard you was real good.
I was.
So, did he do it?
Tunstall? No.
Didn't think so. He
Come on.
wrote us, said he needed some help. So we've been trying to get here in time, and it looks like it's too late. I heard from some of these folks talking in here that they arrested him for the murders and they're holding him at the manse.
Yeah. Yeah. Dolan is resting up there, too.
That bastard Dolan's in this?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What's he got?
It's a lot more than he's letting on.
Although Amos made him rethink some of his actions by...
Which he immediately re-thought, so that doesn't really matter.
Oh, I meant the fact that you shot him.
In the guts. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hell, I'll shake your hand for that. I always wanted to do that myself.
Well, I aim to do it again. Also, they seem to have implicated us somehow in these crimes, despite the complete lack of any type of physical, circumstantial evidence or motive.
The police department here doesn't seem to care about evidence in any
they are
way.
fully in on it. You should get out of town immediately.
Yeah, it's not safe for you.
We can't leave Tunstall. They'll kill him.
Oh, they're going to kill him. You can bet on that.
Well, we're going to have to get him out.
And they're going to hang him probably for black magic, which means they'll burn him at the stake like a witch or something, right? Don't they do that weird stuff here?
Yeah, they...
It is disgusting.
Witch burning's a very New England practice, and people wonder why I moved.
And then
Doc.
we tried to make contact with the Yosemite ambassador, but the place was closed down.
Oh yeah, they sent him packing.
Doc, if you don't mind me saying, and I do mean no insult with this, we were able to figure out who you were pretty quickly. I'm just wondering if maybe you would like some assistance. If you are determined to stay here and help Tunstall, maybe you'd like some assistance with your disguises.
We got to break Tunstall out. We can't let him hold him.
Right, but if we could recognize you, then someone else might be able to. You are well known for being Tunstall's men from the regulators. So I could help you a bit with some of the disguise elements.
I suppose it won't do much good once the shooting starts. We're going to have to shoot our way in there and shoot our way out.
That's your plan?
I was thinking
Well, I didn't really have time to think of one so much just yet, and I figured time's of the essence. I don't know the town. I don't know these people involved. I don't know the governor, so unless you got some better idea.
Yes, of course I have a better idea.
Well, shit, that's why they call you the New England detective.
No, they call me that because I'm a detective from New England.
Yeah, same thing.
Chavez is the brains. Remember that. All right.
He hasn't stopped sharpening a knife the entire time this conversation has gone on.
Mr. Chavez, it's sharp. Promise. Right now, you're just scraping extra metal off that you don't need to. So now there's 4 of us that does give us more options.
Then I heard some folks talking over them table over there. They said a Boston delegation's on its way here. How could Boston be on the way here?
Yeah, they would have had to know things were moving very quickly some weeks ago in order for them to get down here on time, especially by boat. These days, it's much quicker to travel by rail.
So, like, around the time of when, you think?
I would say around the time of the first murder.
Murder. Oh, you're on a murder investigation. That's right. I heard something about that. You guys got sent down here on some kind. Are they related then? Are these the same killings that John's getting framed for?
Yes.
Yeah. Also, and you can take this however you please. When I saw Mr. Dolan when we were at his residence earlier, Mr. Dolan is practicing some dark magic, sir. There were traces of occult and magic on him at the time. So I think there's a bigger something here than meets the eye.
Chavez looks up from his knife and stops sharpening it.
Why else would you need so much blood?
Blood?
Oh. How many victims have there been? Six? 6 victims?
There have been, 7 if we include the one on the morning that we went to go see Tunstall and he and his men left. That was the day for a murder.
So we're
and
talking about 14 gallons of blood that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what are they doing with all of that blood?
Calling on the spirit world, Chavez says.
You mean
Right.
trying to make open communication?
So you're telling me that between the magicians practicing all over Yosemite, the combined knowledge of all of the tribes of the Great Americas, you haven't figured out how to contact the spirit world without 14 gallons of blood?
They're
Well,
going someplace dark.
If I may, I don't think it's that you need that much blood to just contact the spirit world. I think there might be a bigger plan in place, so maybe
A bargain.
a bargain or some necromancy, or there could be a couple different things at play.
What are you going to do with the blood for necromancy? Raise it from the dead?
Well, if they maybe they have to do a sacrifice or fill. Maybe they want to fill the old body with the new blood.
No. All the old bodies are at the morgue, except for the ones that have been taken care of already.
Right. I know. I mean a separate entity. Maybe someone's loved one.
Now, is that really necromancy, or is that just a form of biothaumaturgic experimentation? I mean, necromancy specifically indicates bringing the dead back to life, or vice versa, using the power of actual necrosis to your advantage, right?
You are correct, sir. I used the word necromancy out of turn. I apologize for that. My brain's just a little mumbled right now. I meant I use necromancy as a term to, yes, maybe raising someone from the dead or bringing them back. I don't know the exact way in which they're doing so, but that much blood could be, it's not just to contact the world. There's a purpose for it. They're going to use it for something. I mean, they're not
That's
drinking
what
it.
I'm saying. They're not making a kiddie pool for a demon, I assume.
Right. Honestly, we don't know what they're using it for. We just know it's quite a lot, and they continually need more as well because the murders have not stopped.
Haven't they?
No, there was one. Yes, this would be
When we went out to Tunstall's?
right. That's why Tunstall and his men left, because they found another body that morning.
Right, but that was days ago.
Was it days ago? Because
you can't possibly have both of them healing up in Rutherford B. Hayes' mansion if it happened yesterday.
My apologies, Amos. So sorry. Again, my brain's just a little bit muddled here. So yes,
Being on the run will do that.
Right. So yes, a couple days ago, which means we are due for another murder, if it were to happen.
Another murder, and they've got Tunstall.
Indeed.
But there has been another murder since Tunstall?
No, there has not been. They've got Tunstall, and they're due for another murder.
Right.
They're going to kill him.
Well, maybe the day will prove him innocent.
How do we do that?
Let someone die.
Right, because if there's another body that shows up and Tunstall's been under watch the whole time, we know it wasn't him. Unless they try to tell us that it was one of his men.
What if they killed Tunstall?
What if who killed Tunstall? The police?
Yeah. What if they killed Tunstall? What if they're involved in all this? They killed Tunstall.
The police involved in this? Yes, we've established that.
So what if they killed Tunstall?
Then
Well,
he'll
they
still
would
be
be killing
exonerated. He'll be exonerated posthumously.
Not if he's the last one.
Then tell me, occult expert, what you can use 14 gallons of blood for, and we're going to have our answer.
Making a pact, making a deal.
Yeah, James, can I roll to see what that information might
Absolutely,
be?
occult expert, you can.
Thank you. I beat it by 10.
You know quite a bit about trafficking in blood and other bodily fluids. It's very common when dealing with certain forms of demonic entities, usually as forms of bargains and deals.
All right.
Contrary
So
to the
demonic
Christian belief of talking about souls and the like, most demons and devils traffic in blood and life.
So they are making a bargain with blood to a demon. Now, would I know, James, since I beat it by 10, which is that a critical?
That's a
Yes.
critical success.
Yeah. So, obviously,
Whatever it is, it would have to be quite the bargain to require that much. Something
right,
massive.
right, something huge. And it,
A big
there's, I guess my question is the constant killing isn't to have multiple bargains. It's to get enough blood for the one bargain.
probably part of an ongoing deal.
But it's not like every 3 days they're getting something new. It's like, hey, we're going to pay you, but we can only pay you in
They're
these.
making payments. Yeah. Whatever they're doing, they're making payments on it, and it's something very big that requires a lot of effort on this demon's part.
So that's information we didn't have before, Mary.
Indeed, it is.
So how big are we talking?
Well, what do you mean? How big are we talking? How big is the deed? How big is the?
How big is the problem that all this blood is creating?
This much blood, I would assume it is a very big problem. But I unfortunately, I don't know if it's having to do with power or I mean, I got a 10. Would I know anything, James?
You still need more details about what they're doing to know for sure. You can describe 100 different possibilities.
Right.
All would be extremely major undertakings, world-shaking events.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they would be world-shaking events. Sorry. Dog break.
Dog break. We're letting him outside. It'll be great. Hellhounds. Yes, the hellhounds have arrived. Right. So yeah, there could be any
very,
number.
Very, very big, whatever it is. Something massive.
Something massive. But yeah, there's no way to know that for now.
Not without more details. Well, you would know it has to be something big. Something tremendous.
Something what?
Something tremendous. Like, this is not a small undertaking. Whatever is requiring this much blood would be something very, very big.
Yes, so something with this much blood would be something along the lines of maybe they want King Teddy's territory, or I mean that's the size I'm thinking.
Here, I mean that's a possibility, but they don't have the armed forces to take Yosemite. I mean, there's not an army around that could take Yosemite as it stands.
Right.
I mean, they proved that method doesn't work.
Saying a demon could just take care of it for them, but you're right.
There's enough spirit walkers and the like. Oh, yeah, I think you're muted there.
I feel it would take more than a demon.
It would take more than a demon to take Yosemite itself. But there's more than one way to win a war. Guns and bullets are not a way to win a war with Yosemite.
Right. All right. Well, we know that much.
Yosemite's main reason for making dealings with Governor Hayes and trying to form a friendly relationship with the Louisiana Territory was ports for trade and the influx of economy and products. There was only one functioning port in all of Yosemite, in Texas.
Wait.
What?
Say that one more time.
There's only one functioning ocean port in all of the Kingdom of Yosemite.
What about the West Coast? What about San Francisco?
Well, most of that land he ceded over to the natives. It is their land, and while there's ports there, it is much more difficult to do larger quantities of trade that way. There's not a lot of established roads and communities out there.
And there is no Panama Canal.
No, there is not.
Hmm. And I mean, it just seems like using demon blood to take over a port doesn't make sense to me. But
Probably not.
I'm in no position to speculate. You tell me what is most likely, and we will go in that direction, as this is outside of my area of expertise.
well, James, can I roll to see what I think would be most likely?
I suppose you could try some ideas, maybe narrow it down some, but it's still too much to know.
Yeah, I failed my roll.
But even that, taking a port it wouldn't be an undertaking
Yeah.
for a demon like this. Would be something massive and something involving dark magic and occult type things, not financial control of a port. I mean, if that was the aim, a blockade would do just as well. In fact, a blockade would be highly effective.
Doc and Jose, I know that Tunstall said he needed your help. Did he say anything else? Anything that maybe we're talking about now that seems to line up?
He doesn't like to communicate much in telegraphs and letters, but he said it was something big. He said that Dolan was up to something down here and had the governor under his thumb.
So your plan is to shoot your way into and out of the governor's mansion as former... I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
We do it fast, it should work. I mean, that's how we used to do it.
If you do it fast, medium, or slow, it's going to cause a war. Period. You are agents of Yosemite, whether retired or not. You're famous agents of Yosemite. You think you can just go attack a government mansion and have that be okay with the government?
I guess you got a point.
We storm that mansion and we are all dead. Whether before, after, or during.
Well, we can't let them kill Tunstall, and if they're up to some kind of demon practice, we can't let them do that. They can't be hurting the Kingdom of Yosemite with that magic. Either way, we got to stop them.
Well, I don't disagree.
There just might be more intelligent ways than just going in guns blazing.
Okay. I can agree to that.
We could try to sneak in, but I'm sure they've got that place guarded.
I suppose. I mean, Jose here can sneak into anything.
So what is the goal of this exercise? To rescue Tunstall? Because I'm not going in for that.
Well, we need to get Tunstall out, but whatever you're talking about's going on, it's got to be stopped, whatever it is. So
if you're telling me they're doing the demonic summoning on the governor's mansion grounds as well, I'm just not going to believe you.
Why don't you believe them?
Because no man can be that stupid, right? I mean, I've heard Hayes is dull. But
Hayes is pretty dull.
But on that scale, I mean, is he really stupid enough to... It doesn't matter. He probably is.
I mean this with no disrespect to you, Amos, because you are a very intelligent man. But as someone who has met a lot of men who think they know better than her, yes, he is dumb enough to do that. You're not, because you have a brain.
I don't need the flattery. I just need a reason why he would do it. Everybody does something for a reason, right?
Well,
Right.
Tunstall told us in his letter that Hayes was under Dolan's thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us that he didn't know who, but somebody with a lot of power and money was backing Dolan.
Which I assume is Hayes. The governor's going to have the most power and money right now.
No, My uncle has something to do with it.
That is true.
But what to gain?
There must be something in it for Hayes. Dolan has promised him something out of this deal. We just don't know what it is.
I
Hayes,
think without Dolan's support, Hayes isn't governor.
why? What does Hayes have? What does Dolan have?
Dolan's got the money. Dolan's got the men. Dolan's got the marshal. Aside from Tunstall, with his union down here, Dolan owns the port.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, we have 2 rerolls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. 2 rerolls and a
Thank
meta search.
you.
You might need those.
I'm going to. James,
Shoot.
is there a way for me to possibly go in a private room and cast a small spell to like see the room in which Tunstall is being kept?
You do have capabilities along those lines. You would need someplace quiet. Wouldn't necessarily need to be a room, but anywhere quiet would do.
How quiet are the stables?
When there's nobody out there, like at night, around when it's going to be very soon, pretty damn quiet.
Because I could, yeah, so I could cast a spell to at least see how and where Tunstall's being kept, possibly get really lucky in story fashion and hear an important conversation from which I gain more information. It's worth a shot at least, or at least we'll know what room he's in and maybe what kind of guards are around it, or it's some information for the rescue rather than none.
It's a plan.
Amos, what is your opinion?
On what? Performing a spell in a barn? I'm sure it'll work. Sounds perfectly real to me. Do I have to watch or collect
No.
feathers or something?
No, Amos, you do not. All right, James, I'd like to go to the barn and see what I can see.
All right. Chavez is going to assist you.
Excellent, yeah. Chavez seems like they've got a line on the... I feel like their grandma knew it was up and like passed it down.
Give me, I will take, what are you going to use?
Well, I have occult, which I think is going to be the most...
That is going to be the most relative. Do you have focus?
Yeah, I do have focus.
I will take an occult and a focus roll from you.
All right. So my occult I beat by 5.
Okay.
And foe, that's a bad number.
And Chavez is successful in his assist, so you get a +2 to your focus.
Oh, thank God. With a +2, I beat it by 6.
All right.
The first one I rolled was a 10. It was not looking good at first.
You gather the materials, and the two of you work together in dead silence, and you reach out, and you can kind of see it's really hazy and smoky, as visions tend to be when you bring them to you. And underground... Whoa. I got stereo sound. An underground room of some kind. You can only think it's underground because there's no windows and no lighting other than some candles that are lit. Mm-hmm. There's it's too hazy to make out, but some kind of ritualistic signs drawn upon the floor, and there's some kind of a pulley apparatus with ropes hanging from it.
I would assume I know what the signs are.
It's too hazy for you to make them out. They're too far away from you, from your point of view. But your point of view is centered very much on a shirtless and beaten rather badly Tunstall, who is chained up in a corner, and the nearest thing to him is a pulley apparatus with ropes upon it.
Are the symbols on the floor around him or in front of him?
No, they're underneath wherever these pulley ropes end. It's just kind of ends in smoke in your vision. It's just too far away to see.
But they're not surrounding him. Like, he's not being kept, like, in a circle.
They're underneath these hanging ropes that are hanging from these pulleys.
Which he is attached to?
No, they're next to him.
They're next to him.
He is not currently in the pulleys, but looking at the loops on those ropes, they could very well be used to hold someone by the arms or legs, perhaps.
Indeed, do these ropes, I know it's fuzzy, but do they look like the ropes that that Amos figured out were probably holding the other?
They are the right size.
They are the right size. Is there any blood in the room? Any buckets? Storage
No.
compartment?
But there's some kind of an object in the middle of that symbol. It's too hazy to make out, like a bowl or something.
Yeah, they're just. It's like a straw, and yeah.
But yeah, no windows is a very distinguishing feature. Not a single.
Indeed. And he is shirtless and beaten.
Yep, somebody has gone to town on him.
But he does not look like he has lost blood.
No. Whoever beat him went for bruising only. Almost like they were tenderizing him.
Oh, lovely. Okay. I will, and it's too fuzzy for me to really get any more information out of this.
No. Too fuzzy for that.
So I will go back to the bar with Jose, and I share all of that information with Amos. So we've clearly found where they're draining the bodies. Oh, I think you are muted.
You think they're doing that at Hayes' mansion?
I do. The description of the ropes that you were giving me it matches the ropes that I saw. Also, there's some occult symbols on the floor. There's a dish in the middle, as if it's designed to catch something, which I assume is blood. So yes, I believe that they are performing these acts at Hayes' mansion.
But the room had no windows.
Correct, which I assume means that it's underground, a basement type, or maybe a cellar.
Amos, you happen to know quite a bit about New Orleans architecture, and there are not very many basements or cellars in the city.
Especially when you build below sea level, because that would be dumb.
There are not many basement or cellars at all.
Well, I guess the room could be higher up. I don't know the governor's mansion, but there are no windows, and it wasn't like there were curtains covering windows. There were just no windows.
Well,
I guess it could be a secret room in the house. James, did I get a sense of
a
how
secret
big?
room where you killed 14 people and drained their blood from them? I mean, where does that even go? You still have to get the blood out.
True.
I mean, are they doing it in the study? Those often don't have windows.
I am unsure. Did I get a sense of the size of the room, James?
Rather small.
Rather small. All right, rather small. So and I don't have a look. I guess I could go out and try to do another. I could do another spell and see if I can get like an outside view or a wider, not so focused on Tunstall specifically, but like now that I've seen him, can I do kind of broader?
You have been known to track using magic.
I will do that.
Give me a focus roll. You have already done the necessary occult.
I absolutely.
I have lost you.
Okay.
All right. So you said focus?
Yes, please.
That is a 10. I beat my focus by 6.
You sort of have almost like a mental ping in your head in a direction. You know which way Tunstall is and about how far he is.
Is that in the direction of the governor's mansion?
It in fact is in the direction of the governor's mansion, which is not just a single building. The governor's mansion is an entire grounds with stables, its own private chapel, several outbuildings.
A chapel, you say?
Yes.
Is one of them a smokehouse, a slaughterhouse, or a chapel? Chapels have big windows.
There's a chapel and there is a
big
slaughterhouse on hand. There is a slaughterhouse.
Well, I guess we should check the slaughterhouse first. I have found in the past sometimes the most what people consider religious sites are the ones they use to perform the most heinous acts. But I agree with you. There's a slaughterhouse on
Give me an
site.
example.
Uh,
I thought holy ground was verboten to demons and the undead.
You are correct. Pretend I just didn't say that. I'm, again, just not very smart today,
Fine,
sir.
don't reveal your secrets to me, wizard.
So
Keep your
yes,
secrets. Keep your evil occult secrets. I don't need them.
So the slaughterhouse.
What am I but a simple man of science?
Right, unless the holy ground has been deconsecrated. We don't know in my head. It was a stupid idea. But yes, so slaughterhouse. So let's.
No, I was just asking. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I wasn't. I will stop talking now.
Please don't. You have the best ideas. I like the slaughterhouse. So I think we should. Oh, but it's nighttime. You said, right, James?
Now it is nighttime. Yes, it is the time for creeping about.
It is the time for creeping about. Would you like? Do you feel good enough to go now, Amos? All right. Well, then do we want to bring Doc and Jose with us, or do we want to like scout out first?
He's thinking.
He's thinking.
I think
My only concern with Doc and Jose is if we take them with us and they get there, they're just gonna go off on their own and start shooting crap.
If we don't take them with us, they're going to do the same thing.
That's a good point. Better to have them with us so we can stop them than.
Oh no, I'm not going to. Boys, we're going to go to the mansion and I guess look at the outbuildings and see if we can find your friend Tunstall. We'd rather you didn't come with us.
that's not happening.
Okay. Well, then I'm glad I told you the wrong place. We'll see you later.
Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What? You think I'm just going to tell you where I think he is?
Well, you want to go in there alone? You don't want our help?
What are you going to help with? Shooting?
If we got to, but if you're talking about sneaking into a place, well, Jose here can sneak into any place.
Okay. Well, then I guess you two can handle it.
No. We don't know where we're going exactly. You said you know where it was. We just figured you might want a couple of guns with you in case things get ugly.
It's the governor's mansion in Louisiana.
Well, if things get ugly, you don't want a couple of guns with you?
We might need your medical expertise once we get there, depending on how bad Tunstall has been injured.
I'm a dentist.
Oh, that's almost the same as a doctor, except not.
And really, I never actually practiced. It just kind of, well,
Let me tell you something, friend. Doc Holliday was also a dentist, and I never saw him pull a tooth he didn't knock out with his fist.
I suppose you're probably right.
And why are all dentists named Doc in the West?
Yeah, that is a very good point.
It's a long story.
It's a 3-letter long story, Doc.
Look, it sounds better than Josiah Scurlock, all right?
Well, it sounds better than Josiah Scurlock of DDS. You never see any gunfighters roaming around the West calling themselves DDS. It's the dentist. Watch out for him. Not a real thing. But doctors obviously must, have some sort of training and expertise behind them. So Doc makes you seem like you are proficient in whatever it is you are doing because you are a doctor of said profession. And in the gunfighting profession, I assume that just makes you a very good shot or fast on the draw or have hair on your cojones or whatever it is.
I'm all right, I guess.
With the hair? Because as a doctor, I can say that's perfectly normal.
So you want our guns with you on this or not?
I think your guns would provide an ample distraction while we search the outbuildings.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay. Got a plan.
Sure, if you were to go and demand that your friend be released, and we know you got him, you son of a bitch, and give us Dolan and all that, causing a bit of a ruckus near the front. That would give Mary and I a chance to find and perform needed medical attention, and Mary will chase away the ghosts.
All right. Sounds like you got a plan.
It's half formed. It'll be there by the time we get there. It's not a short ride. We should be off.
Mary and I up the old hornet's nest, get them come out and yelling at us. We can get ourselves into some words. I can do that.
Mary and I are without horses.
Why don't you take ours?
Thank you. We know the ones. walk out of the saloon.
All right.
Can I? I'd like to. I'm sure I have a symbol or a token of good luck or blessing of some kind.
Yes.
I'd like to just give it to Jose, just like
right.
a small, just like a nice little gesture.
To which he responds, "Mexican Indian, you son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Just something. I mean, even if a worthless coin that looks special, I'd like it to actually be something special. But you can take that as you will, James.
As you hand him.
You
So you hand him the little trinket, and I go, "Ha! Now you owe us Arizona."
He's very accepting.
Yeah, because he helped me with the spell, so I feel like there's a bond there.
He seemed to be fairly proficient in dealing with he refers to it as the spirit world. His words are different than yours, but his methods are similar.
Yeah. So.
Hey, James, how come they ain't killing us? We're in the spirit world, asshole. They can't see us.
What is that from?
Know that line.
Young Guns.
Learn that line.
Young Guns.
Mm-hmm. One of the most historically accurate westerns ever, other than The End.
Well, you had to. You can't just have them walking out of the house and riding away in the middle of the night. That's way less climactic than a big shootout.
But it's what actually happened. The army surrounded the entire house and they just slipped out in the dark.
I'm not saying they didn't. I'm just saying it doesn't make for a great end of a movie, especially an action
It's not
film.
very climactic for a big ending. No. But yes, a very accurate representation of the Lincoln County War.
Okay, well, they're going to go make a distraction.
And are on your way to the governor's mansion. Because you have horses, you will be arriving before Doc and Jose Chavez get there.
I think that's great. I'd like to stay on the outskirts so that we can
Avoid
ride the perimeter.
Exactly.
The entire manse is quite a big ground. I mean, probably more than a dozen acres of property. It's surrounded by a low stone wall. It's only about 4 feet high, but it is a stone wall. It's more ornamental than a wall of any sort. Probably decently good at keeping floodwaters out, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do we see as layout of bill? I mean, obviously there's the giant governor's mansion. We're not interested in that right now.
It's all decently well made, and everything on the property other than the chapel seems to be rather recent. The chapel is completely overgrown and in disuse. One of the doors is hanging off of its hinges. It doesn't look tended to at all. There's a couple of smaller outbuildings, a large stable, and then a very large stone building in the back behind the mansion, which is kind of a very new construction by the look of it. And there's not a single window on it.
Hey! All right, so let's do a little process of elimination using my investigation skill. If that's okay?
Absolutely. Yeah. What are you trying to find out, my friend?
I am trying to rule out any of the buildings it's not.
Ah, excellent.
Or as many of them as I can, so we limit our chase to one wild goose per.
Only one wild goose today, please.
I rolled a 4, and that means I beat my investigation by 12, or by 10.
Holy crap.
Wow, it could be the stable or could be a room within the mansion. You are within a 90% certainty that it is this unmarked, strange stone outbuilding, which seems to have no real purpose.
Oh God.
There seems to be no purpose at all for this large stone outbuilding.
Well, I'm going to say that's it.
In fact, you probably wouldn't be able to see this stone outbuilding from any of the roads that go up to or around the governor's manse. If you hadn't decided to go off the road and ride through the woods, you wouldn't see it at all.
how convenient for them.
Well, we will wait for Mr. Chavez and Mr. Spurlock to arrive and let them know that they need to keep people away from that building.
And are there any patrols happening? Do we see any people walking about?
There is quite a few people walking about, in fact.
Does there
all over the grounds.
Does there seem to be a
pairs.
specific path from the slaughterhouse in any direction? Like if they've been actually using this as much as we think they might, there's got to be some kind of...
It's not a slaughterhouse.
Do you do a check around the entire perimeter then of the place, looking for such a place like that?
I'm just wondering, I misheard. So it's not the slaughterhouse. The building that we are 90% sure is where we're going to.
It could be a slaughterhouse. It could that could be a use for it.
But is there a specific, like, does it look like it's recently had people walking in and out of it?
Give me a stealth check to slip around the entirety of the compound and get enough views to make that determination. I'm going to let you stick with Amos's investigation check then.
So that I beat it by 5.
All right, you were able to not be noticed slipping around the compound. There is definitely a back trail that leads to the rear of the governor's grounds that's seen a lot of recent traffic, and that trail seems to head directly to this stone building. And now that you're on the back side of the compound, you can see the door to this stone building, and there are 2 armed guards in front of it.
And that seems to be the only door we can see to this building.
Yeah, a very heavy steel door.
Which means it's not a slaughterhouse.
Right.
It would be difficult to get a cattle in there.
For sure.
It needs an outdoor, otherwise it just wouldn't work.
Right, no, that makes sense. So we have 2 guards on the outside.
2 guards.
They're also around the back, meaning that we could take them out and have no one see that we've taken them out.
There are guards patrolling grounds, but after a minute or 2, you have a decent idea of their patrol routes. You'd have about a 4-minute window to get to that door and make whatever move you're going to make before someone walked by.
Mm-hmm.
That's plenty of time.
It is. Do we have a place to stash the bodies? I don't want to just leave them outside the door because that'll obviously draw attention.
Wait, who are we killing and how?
At this point that you hear some shouting from the other side, the front entrance of the manse grounds. Some kind of an argument is going on at the front gates.
Christ, before they even get here? Okay. Because I'm out waiting for them to show up while she's out.
Oh, if you're waiting for them to show up, you see Doc and Jose ride up. Or excuse me, walk up to the front gates.
And I will go back to him and explain what I saw.
I'm sorry, I thought you were with Mary when she was doing her stuff.
No. We weren't going to go heading back to that building until they got here. That was my plan. I did not deviate from that at all.
They have arrived then. Well, Mary was...
And I'll come back and tell you that there's 2 guards, and we have a 4-minute window in which to get in before we're seen by a patrol.
Okay. So what do you want to do about that?
Well, I was thinking we could knock the 2 guards out so we could get in.
Okay. So the boys are here. Let's let them know we need people to stay away from that building in the back.
We'll
I think that's where they go.
To the front entrance as we can.
Thank you.
When do you want to start?
In how far away of a walk is that?
If you're being stealthy about it, you can do it in about a minute.
Great. Count to 100.
We can do that.
I mean, if we get lucky, the 2 guards run to the front to see what the commotion is.
And they start moving.
All right. You guys head around back of the compound. I've already got a stealth check from Mary. Can I get a stealth check from you, Amos?
Yes. Ooh, that's an 8-sided die. That's why that looks so good. Okay. Well, I made it.
All right, the two of you slip around the back.
Thank you for the meta surge.
Thank
Now
you.
you've got 2 meta surges and 2 rerolls in the store.
Nice.
But there is still a decent amount of open ground from that back wall all the way up to that stone building where those guards are posted.
All right. I mean, I made my stealth check.
Excellent. You are not noticed getting around to the entire back of the compound along with Mary, and the two of you are peering over the wall. It's at that point that about another half minute or so passes, and you hear yelling and arguing begin from up front.
All right.
In the midst of the yelling and arguing, the 2 guards that were doing their little patrol that would walk by that back building turn about and head towards the front gate,
That was the cue I was looking for.
leaving only those 2 on their own guarding that back door.
How dark is it?
It's pretty dark. I mean, the moon's out, but there's a lot of cloud cover out tonight.
What are the guards carrying for light? Anything, or are they just using the outer sconces?
They've got a lantern, but the hood is up on it, so it's not shedding a lot of light. It's as though they're trying hard to not be noticed themselves back there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, but the guards are moving in pairs, so Barry, stay close, and I'll pull out a lantern.
I like it.
Yep, the
And
walking
we'll just-
guards are moving in pairs. That is true.
Yeah, and we'll just walk up with the lantern out in front of us, so all they see is the light until they shine it, and then we shine it at the same time. They're not going to see anything until we're on them.
Can I
I
get
like it.
a stealth check or some kind of con artistry check from you of some sort? I'm open to your interpretation of how you want to do it.
All right.
I mean, stealth is what I've got.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my best too.
Unless I can somehow tie this into Marquis of Queensberry style boxing.
Did you make your roll, Christian?
I haven't rolled yet.
Okay.
There are 2 meta surges and 2 rerolls if you need.
Oh, yeah, no, I got an 8. I'm mine by 6. I'm feeling good.
Great. I got mine right on, so I'd like to use a meta surge
And beat it by a little bit.
and beat it by a little bit, just so we're like solidifying that we're making this work. Also, Amos, I have my sword cane, and you've got a silent weapon as well, correct? I assume we want to. Yes, so I assume we want to use those rather than our pistols.
Right, because the pistols make noise because of the gunpowder.
Right.
See, you're learning science so fast.
Indeed, I am.
Oh, you guys are great.
Amos, would you like to take their
Yes.
lives, or would you like to just knock them
I
out?
don't want to take anyone's lives.
Excellent. So we're agreed. We just knock them out.
Yes.
Are
Maybe
you
Dolan.
approaching?
Definitely Dolan. He didn't keep his word.
You are approaching, getting quiet, or being quiet about it, and holding up the lantern as though a pair of guards, and they hold up theirs for a minute, but it seems to be very similar to the action you saw them perform when the previous patrols have been around.
Can you say that last? What now?
They hold up their lantern as well, but they seem to react much as though they did with the previous patrols that came around. You'd
Mhm.
think that your ruse might be working. I mean, at
good.
least until you get really close.
Right. But they're seeing 2 shapes with a lantern coming towards them.
Uh-huh.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
They're not
Uh,
pointing guns, and they don't seem alarmed.
Yeah, we might need a little bit of assistance. I say in my best, really bad Cajun drawl.
Give me a
them?
persuasion roll.
Ah, yes, persuasion. My skill I don't have. Is that mind or soul?
That's going to be soul.
Oh, good.
I do have persuasion if you'd like me to say it.
Yeah, well, I figured you got to do all that sciencey stuff. Let me.
He does,
Yeah, why don't you? Why don't you do it? Because
and he does.
I
Have,
only have an 8 soul. So
Okay.
there are 2 rerolls of Meta Surge still in the store.
oh yeah, but I mean, you do it.
I got an 8, so I beat it by 4.
Mary sounds incredibly manly and very unintelligible in Cajun. I will not attempt to replicate that voice.
And then whenever
I'm not.
and then whenever she says, I followed up with "I guarantee." because that's apparently what Amos thinks all Cajun people sound like.
Well, that is what we learned from the Frog Princess, so it seems on point.
Oh, I learned that from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, me too.
But that's an entirely different story. You get within about 10 feet of them before one of them kind of cocks his head confused like and starts to pull the hood up from his lantern as though he maybe recognizes that you're not the two guards. You guys have a surprise action before we will roll initiative.
Great. I will throw the lantern at their feet as hard as I can.
I'll take an athletics test.
Athletics. I do have that one. Okay. Thank God. 6 and 1, 7. My athletics is 12. I beat it by 5.
That is a success. You throw the lantern hard and it breaks open, setting the grass on fire and spilling hot burning oil at their feet. Mary, what about yourself for your surprise action before we roll initiative?
Oh God, now I'm concerned that the fire's gonna bring people over here.
Fire doesn't make noise until it gets big.
That's true. All right, so for my surprise action, I'm gonna split off from Amos and try to just quickly go behind the two of them.
All right, you dash for getting behind the two of them, and then we will roll initiative for the two of you.
Do you want athletics for that?
Give me stealth to see if they notice you.
That is 11, so I beat it by 3.
All right.
Then we have them flanked at least.
And give me initiative rolls, you two.
All right.
Keep in mind that meta surge is valid for initiative, as are the rerolls. So if you don't like your initiative, you can reroll.
Oh, that's good.
I don't love my initiative, but I'm not a quick draw. It's 12. I'll take it.
I'm at 17.
It's 17. All right. You're going to go first, Mary.
Oh, well, one of them's getting my sword cane to the back of his noggin as hard as I just want to knock him out.
Okay, going for the pommel to the back of the head. Classic. Give me a fighting roll.
Absolutely. Whoop, that one fell on the ground. Well, balls. I mean, that's a 13. I beat it by 1.
If he has a dodge bonus at all. Oh, it's a surprise round. Never mind. Oh, wait, you're not in surprise
Oh, no, this
round.
is not a surprise round.
She was successful in her stealth check, so they are not aware that she is behind them, swinging down the pommel of her sword cane. So your strike is successful, and you crack this guard in the back of the head. He collapses to the ground in the flaming pool of oil.
Oh, sorry.
Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll!
It was the first two. He didn't get to the third part.
Oh, he just stopped and dropped. That'll get you every time.
Every time. You always got to roll.
And then they have a 16, well, the one that is not unconscious in the flaming pool of oil. And very alarmed, like, he grabs his fallen friend and drags him free of the flames, pulling forth a pistol and firing a shot.
Man, he's got a lot going on.
He's going to take a multi-action penalty on that. And his shot is wild. He doesn't even shoot within 5 feet of you, Amos. He hits the house, or the stone building, in fact, rather than you.
Well, the gunshot already happened. So now all bets are off. There goes our stealth roll. I guess I will shoot him now. So I drop my cane, draw my pistol, and shoot him.
All right, give me a shooting test.
Whoo, I rolled a 6.
Ooh, it is successful. You shoot him right through the center of the chest, and he drops next to his companion on the ground. One unconscious, one dead. You can still hear the shouting from up front, and then the shouting ceases as gunshots go off from up front of the manse.
Well, let's go in. I stamp the other guy out as much as possible.
Do you kick him with your feet so he rolls?
Sure. Whatever you want.
Bad joke.
Yes.
Well, hopefully, if the gun firing is also happening up front, they mistook the gunshots back here that someone up there was firing or something, and they're not going to come back here. They're going to continue to be distracted up there.
I think that's amazing. As long as we can keep justifying that, we don't have to go in the building.
No, of course I want to
bye-bye, and I go in.
Yeah, of course I want to go in.
I'm not going to sit there and listen to you explain something after we just get done shooting people. I'm sorry.
Solid metal door is locked.
I just meant like Maggie Christian. No,
Oh, okay. I didn't know we were having that conversation.
it was my bad. Let's go in.
The solid metal door is very locked.
Oh,
Well, I'm done. And I moved to Texas. The end.
don't move to Texas yet. Do either of these cards have a key on them?
They do not have a key on them. However, this is a early 1900s lock. This is not a modern lock.
I don't have any lock picking though.
And I don't have any gear that's going to help.
You
I mean,
have items in your forensics and science kit that could be used towards this end.
Yeah,
Please,
but
Mike.
I could take it down chemically, but by the time that works, everybody will be back here and the gunfight will be over anyway.
You have small metal implements in your forensics bags that are usually used for other endeavors that can possibly be used for such a thing.
You want me to use medical tools to open a lock like a common thief? That's disgusting. I'll do it.
It's a possibility.
Sure.
This will be rolling against your mind score.
Well, I got a good one of those at least. 8. I beat my mind score by 4.
Damn, you have a great mind score.
I do.
He is rather brilliant. You are able to pick the lock rather easily. It is stout and solid, but less designed for preventing someone from picking it and more designed to prevent someone from kicking or smashing their way in.
Mm.
Turning the implement inside is not much more difficult than putting in the tweezers, grabbing hold of the tumbler, and turning it.
Well done, Amos.
Thank you. I should have been a thief instead of a doctor and scientist.
Inside is a small entry chamber. Hanging on the wall, there are numerous what could only be described as hooded cloaks. They'll have strange markings and symbols upon them.
Well, it's not fuzzy anymore. I'll roll my occult. What are those symbols?
Give me an occult.
Ooh, that I am taking a reroll.
Reroll.
Well, that's a much better number. Oh yes, I will take a 3 instead of a 15. Because with a 3, I will now beat it by 11.
Ooh, that is a critical success. They are demon. They're very much demonology markings. In fact, you're certain that they're the same markings that were used by some of the followers of Edison during the Second Civil War.
Followers of Edison?
Yes, some of his more extreme allies delved deeply into dark magics.
With the fact that this is since I beat it by 11, which is a critical success, do I happen to know anything more specific about the kind of demon, or is the demon a famous demon?
Not a demon in specifics, as these individuals dealt with numerous demons. They made pacts with them, a lot of them involving blood sacrifices and the like. They were essentially a cult that worked under Edison at one point and associated with him towards their own ends.
What was do I know anything about their goal was? Like what they summoned the demon to do?
They were often like puppet masters behind the scenes, manipulating things.
Okay.
So what did you find out?
Well, those symbols are the same symbols of those of the followers of Edison back in the Second Civil War. And they used blood magic quite a bit. Now, I don't know the specifics of what they're doing the blood magic to accomplish or which demon it might be, but they are definitely...
Right. If you got all of that from just the robes on the wall, I would give you a lot more credit. Because that would be really strange. Weirdly, this is not the first secret southern room I've broken into and found a wall full of robes, but at least they're a different color this time.
Oh, oh boy, that is really dark humor that I really enjoy. There are two doors off of this room, one to your right and one ahead. They are of unremarkable construction.
Hmm.
Remember your scrying?
Indeed, I do.
You can feel Tunstall is very close and right ahead of you.
So it would be the one ahead of us.
Right. I'm saying if you remember your vision, you'll know if it was an exterior wall or an interior wall just by remembering what the exterior walls and interior walls of here look like.
Indeed.
They are a match.
They are what?
They're a match. The construction of this building, the wall.
But in the vision, was Tunstall up against an exterior wall or an interior wall?
He was up
Exterior.
against the exterior wall.
Which means it would have to be this
Ahead.
other door.
Indeed.
One straight ahead. Opening the door, which is
It's not locked?
at all. No. Tunstall is chained to a wall, rather beaten. There is
John?
symbols that you can see very clearly now. They're very similar to the ones that are upon the robes, but much more intricate, as though they're aimed for something very specific. If you had quite a bit of time to analyze them, you could probably tell a great many things about them. In the center is a large ceramic bowl. It looks capable of holding a couple of gallons of fluid. Above that is a rope apparatus built out of the wall and ceiling with ropes hanging down where they could quite easily hang someone. There's a small table near that with a large bloodletting instrument.
Like a big curvy knife?
Well, it's a single, like, puncturing type device or hooked to a tube. As though you would shove it into someone's carotid artery and then point the tube downwards into the bowl.
Lovely.
And collect the fluid. It smells of slaughter and death in here.
Bam!
Yeah.
Murder weapon. Found it.
Yeah.
It
And
does
were they?
clearly match the neck wounds.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else in here?
Just Tunstall.
Is he awake?
Barely. He's beaten badly, but there's no bleeding wounds on him. They're just bruising. Someone really laid into him with some fists, maybe club. It's hard to say exactly what was used, but he is beaten pretty bad.
All right. Let me take a look at him and see if I can patch him up a little bit with some first aid.
Sounds good.
Beat my medicine score by 16. It was 16. I've got a 10, so I beat it by 6.
That is a success. You're able to set a couple of broken bones he has. And you believe that with time, John Tunstall will be fine. He just needs a lot of recovery time.
Is he conscious at all?
Yes.
All right, John, I'm going to get you down from here.
Removing the bolts takes a little bit of a physical struggle, but not much more beyond that to get him loose. And then both of you give me notice rolls.
Well, he was taking down him from the wall. Did I notice any magic on John?
Not on John, but on the room itself, particularly the symbols and the device in the neck and the bowl. A tremendous amount of dark magic has been being used here frequently and in large amounts.
But nothing on him. Okay, great. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't
Nothing on John
compromised.
So notice rolls then? Is what you
Notice
asked for?
rolls from both of you.
9.
Mine's a 19.
Beat it by 5.
Amos, while you're undoing the last of John's bonds, you swear you hear the outer steel door that leads into this building open and close as though someone is trying to stealthily enter the building.
Company. Hide.
Where is there to hide?
There's not much light in this room. You could just try and go for a shadow.
Sure, I
I'm
mean,
gonna
I'll
have to leave
stealth
you
it.
here for a second. I'm gonna lean John back up against the wall
Give me stealth checks.
and stealth my way in.
Love it.
Oh, that's a 3.
I got 7, so I beat mine by quite a bit.
Ooh,
7.
very good for both of you. A few seconds passes and the door to this room creaks open. And at first you just see a boot step in, and then kind of the shadows cast off of someone holding a revolver, sweeping across the room with it, looking intently. I know someone's in here, John.
Do we recognize the voice?
You do not, in fact.
Okay.
Is it Rutherford B. Hayes?
No, it is most certainly not. You would recognize his voice, and he would not have such a firm and well-controlled hand on the grip of a pistol. He is not much of a pistolero, and this person obviously is.
I'm not saying anything.
Neither am I.
Yeah, I'm not answering it.
They're holding a pistol in each hand and looking intently at the darkness around the room. I know you're in here somewhere. I could just start shooting.
I start shooting.
All right. Amos, you get a surprise attack, and then we'll roll initiative.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, I'll re-roll it.
There you go. Thank you for the rerolls, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That 17 would not done well for a surprise attack. Ooh, but that 3 sure will. Okay. 11. I beat it by 11.
It is a perfect shot aimed right between the eyes of this gentleman. And at the last moment, it seems to deviate from its trajectory and strike an amulet hanging on his chest, which explodes in thousands of fragments.
Oh.
And initiative.
Whoa.
Oh, that's...
How could my shot have been off by so much?
I got a 16.
I got a 20.
Well, the two of you are going to go first.
Oh,
Before he has a chance to react, and now his magical defense has been destroyed by Amos's shot.
That was good.
Do I get a clear view of him at this point? Like,
In fact, you get a lot of... It's almost a bright flash of light when that amulet is destroyed by your bullet. And you get a really good view at him. Give me an investigation roll to see if you recognize this individual.
yes.
All right. You recognize him as... he's been missing for more than 2 years now. Jesse Evans, one of the numerous survivors of the Lincoln County War and a Dolan Murphy faction member. It is most certainly himself.
All right.
Except he doesn't look like you remember him from all of the pictures. He has a variety of tattoos on him, and while you don't study occult, you studied those robes enough to know that those tattoos are the same as those upon those robes hanging in the entryway.
All right. Whose turn is it?
It is Amos's turn with the 20. Before anyone else gets a chance to react, his ambush is still ongoing. That was just the first shot of it.
Nice.
It's the beauty of an automatic weapon. Welcome to the future. I don't stop shooting at him. In fact, I'm going to shoot at him twice.
All right, 2 more shots.
What? I'm not Wyatt Earp.
No, you are not.
That's a 13, so that'll miss with the split action, unfortunately. Oh, unless there's a meta surge.
There is.
Is that okay with you, Maggie?
Yeah.
Well, I'll use the meta surge to get a hit.
They're so helpful.
And the second one, yeah, they both are going to make it by 2 now.
Yep, he would be able to dodge those, but unfortunately he has not gotten a chance to act and does not have his dodge bonus. So both shots strike solidly in the body of Jesse Evans, who drops to a knee, blood flowing profusely from wounds that would be mortal on any other man.
Drop it.
Mary, you are up next.
This may sound silly. Is the blood flowing on the floor and going towards that center section with the bowl, or is it just flowing freely?
It absolutely is, even though gravity should be making it go a different direction.
Yeah, okay, cool. Well, I am also going to shoot him.
You need to do some mumbo jumbo at him, some malarkey. Throw some hooey at him.
Throw some hooey at him. All right. You know what I'd like to do? I might get this terminology incorrect, but I'd like to bless him, or throw some kind of holy
Sanctify.
Yeah, I'd like to do that on him.
All right, give me an occult and a focus roll.
Right. 4. So that's a 6 on my occult, beating it by 8.
Yeah.
And then for my focus, that is 14, beating it by 2.
Beating it by 2. You throw out a power of sanctification, which starts in the blood that is flowing away from him and races like electricity up through the blood to the flowing wounds, causing him to scream in agony. He drops one of the pistols from his hands, falls almost completely on his face, tries to raise the pistol up to shoot Tunstall in the corner, and then collapses in a heap, spasming.
Did you do it? I'm still...
Yes, I did. That's why he's spasming. So I sanctified him through the blood, and I don't think was fully mortal.
Huh. Well, I shot him 3 times, so I'm gonna say it was me.
Somehow I am not surprised by this.
You know I'm kidding, right? I mean,
I do.
you just did a thing and there was light.
I know.
Unless you have a hidden lantern on you somewhere, which
My
I can see
malarkey
you do
is my malarkey is not
you've got some good malarkey, Mary.
I got some good malarkey.
Fine malarkey indeed. And some dead on hooey as well.
Indeed.
I'm just,
And you are a fine shot, sir. You got that amulet, which if we had not taken care of that amulet, this would have been a much messier situation.
I did not hit that on purpose.
Well, whatever led you to hit it, I accept.
I was just shooting towards the noise at that point.
Now what?
Is he dead or is he passed out?
You'd have to check to make sure, but the amount of blood flowing out from his body, it is unlikely that he is alive.
I will daintily, which I just did with my foot while sitting on the couch, but no one can see this. I will daintily turn him over with a toe.
Well, his eyes are wide open, as is his mouth, but they aren't blinking, and his chest is not rising or falling.
And which way is the blood running now?
Since she sanctified it, it's stopped in its tracks. It's flowing more along the lines with gravity now, which is somewhat away and mostly just pooling near the corpse.
But it's something I believe in, and that's all that matters. That's good.
James,
That's good.
I would like to start performing an exorcism to see if the body reacts in any way. If it's going to react, it's going to react early on, and when I can get the first couple sentences out, and it's going to physically react. I mean, it's not like you have to complete the entire thing.
Give me a focus and an occult roll.
That is an 8 on my occult, beating it by 5. No, by 6. I can maths. Focus, I got an 8, so I beat it by 8.
You begin an exorcism, and the tattoos begin to catch fire on his body and burn on the skin. And the body twitches and spasms, and by the time the exorcism words, the opening ritual is complete, the tattoos have all burned, and he is a nearly unrecognizable husk of a being.
Prior, that is evidence. You can't just burn. I'm not going to tell you how to malarkey. You do it however you want.
I apologize, but I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to be visited, or his body was going to be used in some way.
Right now, I doubt it's going to be used for anything but a barbecue.
Well, he's pre-cooked.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Okay. I think we don't have to worry about him for right now.
No, but I'm getting Tunstall the
All
F
right.
out of here.
You grab Tunstall and you make for the door. As you're slipping back out of the building, the makeshift human slaughterhouse, we'll call it, the ritual building, you can hear the gunfight still going on at the gate. It seems like two of the shooters, perhaps more, it's impossible to say for sure, are retreating in the middle of this gunfight.
Uh-oh. Well, I got to get us to the horses quickly then.
Yeah.
Slipping over the wall, you head back around, and by the time you reach the horses, the gunfight has much less guns involved and seems to be at least a quarter mile down the road from the mansion, as though it is a running gun battle at this point.
All right. I put John on the back of the horse.
Excellent.
Does this seem like a good time to take our quick 5-minute break?
Well, we're going to be about done for the episode really quick, so I figure we just finish it out then, and then
great.
say our lovely goodbyes to our friends, as you guys have solved the mystery. We're just going to wrap
Yay!
things up now.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
No worries. I just figured no reason to take a break if we're just going to come back to wrap things up.
Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. I just didn't know, so. Wrap things up
You
like
got
a
him on the
puzzle.
back of the horse,
Yeah, he's stable now, so.
and within you getting him on the horse and starting to ride away, the gunfight has pretty much stopped. Either they're dead or they got away.
All right, so
Well,
I guess
I'm not sticking around to find out. I'm just getting the fuck out of here.
Well, they were clearly in the process of doing that when the gunfight was continuing, so. Where are you headed?
That is a good question.
can you quickly take him back into town? Because how far away is the city? Because we need to get Tunstall to hospital.
You could get to the hospital within about 20 minutes on horseback or less.
Can you do that while I finish up here?
Yes.
Cool. I have a forensic kit, correct?
Yes.
And it's just before 1900, so I'm going to take a couple pictures before I go
Excellent.
of that back room and where the location of the back room is.
You took photos on the way out, I will assume, carrying Tunstall to the horse. And
Okay.
the crime scene in question.
And any dead of note at the Hayes residence?
Are you going to go around to the front gate then, I assume? Where the gun
Yeah.
battle was?
Yeah.
There are several dead. They look like more Pinkertons that were brought in, several dead at the front gates. There is no sign of Doc or Jose at the front gates.
All right.
If they were killed, they were not killed at the front gates. And they, judging by the amount of dead Pinkertons, they put out a good accounting for themselves.
And the gun fight that happened here, the house itself, the mansion, is
Yes.
it like plantation style?
Yes, very much plantation style.
I want to work my way around the outside to where the main guest room would be,
Okay.
where they would most likely be keeping anybody who was, say, resting
Joey?
up or hospitalized.
There, in fact, is. You can see him pacing about the room, wrapped up in bandages, holding his wound in one hand and a pistol in the other, looking nervous.
Dolan.
Dolan.
Walking
Everyone
around.
stops and shouts, "Damn it, Evans, where are you?"
I shoot twice from outside the window. And then I just walk back to the horse and ride away.
All right. Give me 2 shooting tests, though he's got no dodge bonus, and you are essentially making an assassination here, so it's almost impossible to miss.
I know, this is cold-blooded. I apologize, but...
Is it?
First shot would hit if there's no dodge bonus, because I beat him by 3. And the second one is an 8, so yeah, I got him 2 times.
2 shots in the back, and you drop Dolan where he stands, slain.
And then I go right off. I mean, there's nobody around at this point. It just seemed like good business.
All right, you
I mean-
return to New Orleans. At this point, Mary has taken Tunstall to the hospital.
That's where I meet.
Yep. And shortly afterwards, Doc and Jose show up as well because
Oh,
Jose
good.
has been shot.
Okay, I'll take a look at him before those butchers inside the doctor's office get a hold of him.
He's handling the bullet wound rather well. Probably has experience with such things.
All right, I'll make sure that it's not going to kill him right off and then send him in where he can get patched up and I don't have to do the sewing.
Good job.
So
Take
how
another
did
roll.
it go?
You were able to patch him up. It went really well. Doc explains to you that they had the shootout out front, which they started once they heard the gunshot in back, as he figured you might need a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
After
thank you
that
so
happened.
much for that.
So they shot a few of the Pinkertons, and even though I'm getting a little old, I'm still pretty fast on the draw and was able to get a couple of them before they could get their guns out. And I think Chavez was already planning on it, as he knifed one of them bastards before he could move.
Well, bad news. Somebody caught Dolan with 2 stray bullets.
Yeah,
Oh no.
that's just terrible, terrible news.
Just thought you'd know, like some of those shots that you fired may have gone a little wild and killed Mr. Dolan outright twice in the back.
Just wish I really could have been there to see it and do it myself. That nice look in his eyes.
Well, if anybody asked me, you did.
I'll take credit for that. What are you going to do now?
Oh, I'd like to leave New Orleans.
It's not a bad idea, but without if Dolan's gone, then well, I guess Hayes is free to do whatever Hayes wants to do now, huh?
Yes, but Hayes needs a good ass kicking,
Mm-hmm.
or at least a scandal. Maybe I'll stick around a while to dig up some dirt on him.
You do have those pictures from his property.
Oh, right. I'd forgotten about those. I hadn't.
You know, I think I saw a local printing press.
There indeed was.
There is a local paper. Why don't we write them a little letter to the editor, along with some newly developed photographs.
A lovely
Love
gift
it.
package for the local newspaper.
Indeed.
Wrapping things up, you drop off your gift package, and all 4 of you ride away with Tunstall in tow eventually after he gets some care. The governor's office is under extreme amount of scrutiny, and many of the former supporters that put him in his position as the territorial governor have rescinded their support. There's also been some sort of scandal involving the Boston delegation that arrived with warships in the harbor,
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
as though they were up to some sort of malarkey of their own. This, of course, caused quite another scandal with the local union, which is still led by Tunstall loyalists. And New Orleans is going to be under a different amount of management after a power struggle for quite a while.
They should
Ooh.
apply for statehood.
But whoever was secretly behind Dolan and working from the scenes may have escaped this one, for now. But their plans most certainly did not come to fruition, thanks to the action
Aha.
of 2 investigators.
Yeah.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good.
I think in the sequel, we'll already be getting along better from the beginning.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how it works in buddy cop movies.
Yeah.
That is how
Yeah.
it works, buddy cop movies.
It'll be great.
And then it's usually because you get paired up with the new rookie that things are uncomfortable, and it's the new rookie that causes problems.
Yeah, well, no way. In this case, we were just experts in different fields that didn't
We were.
Well, I was
They didn't-
thinking in the sequel.
Yeah.
Usually in the sequel, the buddy cops they're already buddies, and then the new rookie comes in and causes
and
problems.
screws everything up. Starts
Yeah.
dating my daughter. Whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh. I thank everybody for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed our Weird West tale before we get back to regular Metaverse next week. Yeah, Heart Malarkey, Prior Feller, Gut Malarkey.
I'm shipping it.
Yeah.
Ship. It's shipping. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for contributing what you could to our Zoe cause and keeping the streams alive. We're going to have more stuff for you throughout the week. We've got all kinds of stuff going on. I hear that there's like a Masters of the Universe stream going on that they're using some of the Dead Gentleman gaming stuff with.
Oh yeah, no, Don's been putting together that Masters of the Universe game forever, and he's using the Demon Hunter system to do it. It's going to be amazing.
Very cool. Also, there's another stream that's going to be happening on this Friday that Ethan is going to be running for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're picking up our old house game, which I'm really excited about.
I think that's the Sunday game that he wants to do. What did you call it? Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But he's got a fun little game we'll be playing a limited run for on Fridays. But yeah, expect to hear more about that stuff. The Odies are on Wednesdays. Game night on Thursdays. They've been doing watch parties. They did Camper Lake here recently with the guest spot on it. And they're going to put more things on. You might see these two guest spotting, watching these things during the watch party.
It's a possibility. We don't have a lot to do.
You never know. But yeah, I love all you guys. Thank you all for watching. Please be safe out there. Please
Thanks
help.
for running, James. Thanks for watching, everybody.
And we'll see you all next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice.
Masters of the Metaverse, Masters of the Metaverse. They travel through time and space and stuff. Troll them, re-roll them, throw them above. They fly through dimensions, this isn't a bluff. Heroes compelled, they have no choice. Bound by the winds of a secret voice. Masters of the Metaverse, Masters of the Metaverse. Masters of the Metaverse, Masters of the Metaverse.